Good morning. Let me speak a few words about relevance of Sanskrit to present day Indian society. This issue has been discussed for more than 230 years in India. When Lord Cornwallis was Governor General of India, a young and junior military officer by name Alexander Hamilton had written a letter to the Governor General requesting him to relieve of his garrison duties and assign him some other dispensation so that he would pursue his Sanskrit studies. He wanted to study Sanskrit, and his garrison duty, military duty, the field duty was not congenial to his studies. He had written a letter dated March 4, 1790. In that letter, he had drawn the attention of the Governor General to the East India Company sanctioning high salary to Wilkins because of his Sanskrit studies, and the chairman of the Court of Directors of the company personally congratulating the Sanskrit scholar. Wilkins is one of the earliest English Sanskritists who had translated the Bhagavad Gita into English at the behest of then Governor General Warren Hastings. In that letter, Alexander Hamilton has also stated that Sanskrit is the unifying language of India. It is inter-regional language, some sort of national language. After studying Sanskrit in India, he had popularized and propagated the Sanskrit language in European continent. He first started teaching in France, where even German scholars came. Then the Sanskrit language was spread in Germany. Next person to raise the issue of Sanskrit was Max Muller. In 1883, he had delivered a series of lectures at Cambridge University meant for the young civil servants who would be coming to India to serve the British government. There were 7 lectures which are published under the title India, What It Can Teach Us. One of the lectures is titled Human Interest in Sanskrit. In this lecture, he has stated that Sanskrit is not a dead language. It is richer than Greek and Latin languages. It is must, the knowledge of Sanskrit is must for a British civil servant in India studying a regional language such as Hindustani or Tamil or Bengali would not be sufficient. But studying them in the background of Sanskrit would be useful. So, Sanskrit is very much useful to the administrators coming from England. And he has also spoken many things highly about Sanskrit. He has named some periodicals that were published, and according to him, this language contains a valuable treasure of 10,000 books. In independent India, the central government had appointed a committee in 1956 called Sanskrit Commission under the chairmanship of Suniti Kumar Chatterjee. The commission submitted its reports after a thorough study of the position of Sanskrit in India. The recommendations are very important. Yes, among many other things, he has stated that regional languages can become strong when the students study Sanskrit. And another most important recommendation is that for the study of archaeology and ancient Indian history, Sanskrit study is a must. Unfortunately, the recommendations of this commission are not implemented. Then again in 2014, the central government appointed one more Sanskrit commission, and we do not know what happened to it. No report has come out, and we have not heard anything about its functioning. Now, at present, Sanskrit is on the verge of vanishing. In degree colleges, the strength of students who opt for Sanskrit is dwindling. In some colleges, Sanskrit departments are closed down. Sanskrit departments in universities are struggling to survive. It is because of the change of our values. Our new generation and its parents too think that Sanskrit and Indian languages are not of much significance. With globalization, our values have changed. Education is meant only for livelihood. Not only that, a luxurious life, fat salary, if possible, going abroad. So, education has become a kind of money making, not only to the management, even to the students, a money making means. Our students are becoming some kind of materialists, Philistines. They are devoid of values. They are forgetting their own cultural tradition. A few years ago, there was an article in Economic Times written by the principal of an engineering college in Bangalore. The article is entitled Cyber Coolies. The writer has stated that our engineers are becoming coolies because they cannot think beyond their livelihood. Engineering is meant for getting salary, getting a job, a good salary. Yes. And he has also stated that a website was created for Rigveda by the Cambridge University, not by the Indian students. So what is the use of studying engineering? What is the use of our central government spending so much money as grant in aid on engineering colleges if our new generation is forgetting our own culture? can we call this kind of education business management and engineering? Without our without their connection with the tradition, our cultural heritage. It reminds me of a statement by the great physicist Einstein. He said that specialization without values is like a well-trained dog. It's a kind of harsh expression, but we have to agree with that great scientist. If we neglect Sanskrit, we will be losing great treasure of our intellectual achievements. For the last 2,500 years, Indians have contributed to the field of knowledge by writing on various intellectual fields such as epistemology, ontology, botany, medical science, literature, fine arts, astronomy, mathematics, and so many other things. And if we neglect Sanskrit, we will be losing all these acquisitions, all this legacy, our inheritance. One more point. There are a few Sanskrit universities in India, and Sanskrit departments are there practically in every university. But they are teaching Sanskrit in an outmoded way, not of much intellectual utility, something like filling the head with the information, which reminds of Rabindranath Tagore's story, The Parrot's Training, the training of a parrot, filling the head and leading the creature nowhere. The parrot ultimately dies because the head was too heavy, with full of information. So, our Sanskrit teachers should teach this language in relation to other classical languages. Our ancient India has influenced by the Greeks. There is influence of Greek culture on Indian culture after the arrival of Nicotas Seleucus and Chandragupta Maurya marrying his daughter. And our astrology and many other fields are influenced by Greeks. In Brihad Jataka of Varaha Mihra, there are many references to Yavanacharya, a Greek astrologer. But people who teach Jyotisha in Sanskrit college ask them who is this Yavanacharya. They would not be able to say who is he. And in this way, our Sanskrit students should compulsorily study the ancient Greek language. And not much research is done about Indo-Greek cultural relations. That can be done only by our Sanskrit scholars with the knowledge of Greece. Greek knowledge and knowledge about ancient Greece. Now, about the present day utility of Sanskrit. People who say this is a dead language, even in calling it a divine language or Deva Bhasha, there is irony. They mean to say that it's a language of the heaven, not of the earth. It's relevant to this earth. No, sir. This language is very much relevant to the present day world. It is useful in information technology. If you read Bill Gates' The Road Ahead, you will find how he had come under the influence of Sanskrit literature. He has stated in this book that he solved the problem of transistor in information technology, computer science, on the basis of a legend about a Hindu king called Sirham, King Sirham. It is about chess game, a competition between the king and the minister, where there is multiplication. And this has come from a Sanskrit text called Chaduranga Deepika. Another place in this book where Bill Gates was influenced by Sanskrit is about excluding you from every word beginning with the Q. In the Oxford Dictionary, there are some 170 words beginning with the Q, and every word beginning with the Q is followed by U. Bill Gates realized that U that follows Q is superficial. One can do with by omitting that letter. Every U letter is superficial. So, on that basis, he has developed software. He is influenced, or he got the idea about this omitting the letter U from the word Q, a word beginning with Q, is influenced by Panini's Ashtadhyayi. In Indian grammar, there is correlation between the speech and pronunciation. This is the correlation between the speech and pronunciation that Bill Gates adopted. There are many more things in this book about he is coming under the influence of Sanskrit literature. There is somewhere he gives an example of 7 blind men examining an elephant, and they could never recognize it as an elephant because they were blind and they were partly trying to understand it. This is from a Buddhist tale. In this way, if anyone says that Sanskrit is not of any use in our intellectual pursuit, he is living in a fool's paradise. Every great intellectual of the 19th or 20th century India, every product of Indian Renaissance was a Sanskritist. You may take the example of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Swami Vivekananda, and leaders of Brahmo Samaj, other leaders like Sen and Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore, Swami Vivekananda, Dr. Radhakrishnan, Tilak, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Sri Rajagopalachari. They are recognized as great intellectuals, great nationalists, great humanists, because they had the background of Sanskrit. Because they had their roots in Sanskrit, they could think independently and originally. Asim Mujumdar has stated in his book Culture and History of India, Volume 9, published by Bharati Vidya Bhavan, that new interest created in Sanskrit in the late 18th and early 19th century has been one of the causes of creating nationalism in India. The Western scholars who study Sanskrit and translated some rare Sanskrit books into English, as William Jones translating Shakuntalam or Max Muller editing Rigveda. These have brought honor to India all over the world. So it has brought honor not only to India, it has also created a sense of nationalism. Indians had overcome their inferiority complex after they realized that Sanskrit is the treasure of knowledge, in no way less than the classical languages of the West. So, I wish to sum up that we should take every step to preserve Sanskrit, popularize its study, modernize it, make it more meaningful by comparative study of other classical languages of Greece and Rome, that's Greek and Latin, and that would explore new fields of learning. Much more will be discovered about India by studying Greek along with Sanskrit. So, ultimately, I wish to conclude this brief talk by saying that it is high time that the Deva Bhasha should be made Jana Bhasha. Thank you very much.